On the road again. Can't wait to get on the road again.
I'm the founder, along with Warren Smith, of Stabilised Pavements of Australia, and was involved as the first president of AustStab. Prior to AustStab, most promotion was done either independently by the companies or in conjunction with the Cement and Concrete Association. Since the Cement and Concrete Association were quite active in organising seminars in various major cities, and the concentration of the promotion was cement and possibly lime stabilisation. It got to the point where the cement companies felt they needed to limit the funding going into the association, and along with stabilisation and a number of other non-core businesses such as block paving were sort of cast aside and led hence to the establishment of the independent AustStab Association. It was driven very much by Stabilised Pavements and David Durden from Pavement Technology in South Australia. Other members were Stabilix, which was part of Boral, ReadyMix, Pioneer. Other members joined in later years. One of the major outcomes was the ability to have George Vorobiff, who was our initial CEO, become a member of the Australian Pavements Research Group, which gave us greater contacts with state road authorities and at that stage the ARRB, or now Nitro, applications and other technical papers. George was really good at driving the association to develop these. There was notes as to proper construction procedures and specifications, which were then adopted by local government authorities and a number of consultants, which made it a lot more viable for stabilisation companies to work to a standard specification. AustStab then ran a number of seminars across the country, which was driven largely by George, and some of them in association with the state road authorities. It's still very much a developing industry. As my partner Warren Smith describes it, it's a sunrise industry. There's still a long way to go, both in terms of economics and very much in sustainability as a means of road construction and reconstruction. There have been major changes in the available equipment and also the available binders. We've done a lot of work on developing binders more suitable to the industry than straight cements, and the introduction of bitumen stabilisation, which, although it was there in the late 60s, the improvement of equipment has made the foam bitumen stabilisation a far superior product these days. I worked for a company in the UK, and I was temporarily appointed to a stabilisation company as a contractor. I learned a little bit about it there, and I came back to Australia and joined Mobil Oil, who then held the company Stabilisers Australia Proprietary Limited, which was one of the early stabilisation companies in Australia, which was since disbanded and sold out to a number of people, including myself.
I was with Snowy Mountains for a number of years, and eventually decided around about 1985 that we should settle down in Perth. So I was employed by Brighton Stabilisers at that time. Jim Tamlin had started Brighton Stabilisers as a part of Adelaide Brighton Cement. The cement company was trying to expand the use of cement in the road industry. So they started the stabilisation arm in South Australia and Northern Territory, and I was recruited to start Brighton Stabilisers in Western Australia. So I was with the business from 85 till about 2008. In 2006, we were purchased by the Downer Group and stayed with the stabilisation for a couple of years, but then moved out of that to become EGM of Downer in Western Australia, and then retired in around about 2015. So approximately 28 years in stabilisation. My background in soils was suited to Western Australia because a lot of the roads are built with, in inverted commas, marginal soils, and particularly those soils, if they get wet, don't function very efficiently as a road building material. Stabilisation really was in its infancy, in Western Australia. When I started, obviously I started Brighton Stabilisers in Western Australia. They were operating in Northern Territory and South Australia at the time, but there were no stabilisation companies in Western Australia. There had been the odd foray of companies from the eastern states. I think Stableco, Stable Lime had come over, perhaps SBA maybe, to do the odd job, but there were no resident stabilisation companies, and basically stabilisation was an unknown road building technique at that time. I think people need to understand soils. I think a lot of people have moved away from being able to look at a soil and have a good idea of perhaps what should happen to it.
Is on the road again. Can't wait to get on the road again.